It's a win for Zalmi by 1 run in this match. It's a big 6. Karachi have won.
It's a young franchise, but they've done it. What a stab!
Another night in HBL PSL 8. Another last ball thriller.
6 will win the game for the Kings. A 4 will tie it. Anything less, the Sultans win. Down the ground. Should only be 1. What a victory! Surely one of the best T20 games we've seen for a long time.
Even before we have managed to catch our breath, it's time for a fascinating showdown again, featuring the very best. The classical. Peshawar Zalmi underway with a boundary. The outrageous.
Oh, what a shot. What a shot.
The young guns in full flow.
Oh, dispatched. Just whacked out of the park.
Experienced campaigners carrying their side home.
Wherever they bowl, the ball is going out of the ground. Again, it is that man, Colin Munro.
It has been a mixed bag for Islamabad and Peshawar. Moments to cherish.
Yes, pulled him! And it's another big wicket for Peshawar Zalmi. This time it's Jason Roy.
Edged and gone. He makes the breakthrough early.
And some disappointments. Peshawar are coming off a win against Quetta. And Islamabad suffered a big defeat against Multan. An intriguing battle with plenty at stake coming your way.
Hello and welcome to the beautiful city of Karachi, the city of lights. And as the sun will eventually set down, we are all set and ready to move the HBL PSL 8 along with another encounter lined up for you. It is live from the National Bank Cricket Stadium. Peshawar Zalmi, they take on Islamabad United. Let's have a look at how the league has panned out so far. Multan Sultans right on top with 8 points, and it's number 3 versus number 5. 4th game for Zalmi for 3 games to Islamabad United. Hello and welcome to Pitch Side, and we will be discussing Peshawar Zalmi, the Yellow Storm, taking on the Red Storm, Islamabad United. Alongside me in the studio, Nick Knight and Vernon Philander. Welcome to the studio with your new host. I hope you guys don't have too much trouble lined up for me.
Well, we're a little concerned, but you're going okay at the moment. We're with you.
We're all with you as well. Let's have a look at both squads one at a time. Peshawar Zalmi, Nick, we'll have a look at their squad in a moment and see how they line up. Peshawar Zalmi first. What do you make of them so far?
Well, I've been mightily impressed, actually. I think both these sides actually will get through to the playoffs, but they've, of course, won a couple of games. I mean, if you look down their squad, I think they've got most things covered with bat. I love Mohammed Harris at the top, and I think that's a pretty crucial role that he plays with Bubba as well. And then they've got young Saeem. I mean, we've all been hugely impressed with him, even though he's had a couple of, well, it's been a bit unfortunate in a couple of games, and of course that stunning 50. I think the guts of their side look very good as well. You've got Neesham in there, Rodman Powell. You've got Shanaka. They made the change to Shanaka for Rajapaksa in the last game. I thought that was a good move. The bowling looks strong enough. Wahab, Arshad, Mukim and Usman Qadir. Again, another player that they made a late change for yesterday. I think this pitch will be a little slower than some of the pitches we've seen. So I think that's all in pretty good shape. Their fielding is one concern. They need to get that right.
Well, move on to you with the same team, Peshawar Zalmi. Like Nick says, they look a slightly well-rounded side. A few areas that pop out for you in terms of concerns for them?
Yeah, I really just like the formation that they've gone with. They've gone with the 5 top-end batsmen, and then they've gone with 3 all-rounders, and then, of course, the 3 bowlers, specialist bowlers. So for me, in T20 cricket, I'm always looking at options. So if one bowler is under the pump, on a particular night, they've got all those areas covered. And like Nick said, when you have those sort of options available on the night, you can chop and change. I mean, if you're going well in the power play, you can maybe, perhaps even get a TKC to go up earlier, or if you're a little bit under the pump in that power play, you can still use TKC to really maximize the power play. So for me, probably one of the most well-balanced squads in this tournament.
They are up against a team which is explosive and dynamic. Islamabad United, they've got plenty of firepower in there as well.
Yeah, and they're back deep, don't they? I mean, that's traditionally one of their strengths. The one thing I'll be interested to see how they go at the toss, actually, in 25 minutes or so time, where they go. Asif Ali, I think, played in the first game here on this ground, and they made the change to Abrar. I'm thinking that's a better option. They still have plenty of batting. I would think their balance is a little better that way round. It just gives them an extra bowling option. What's going to be interesting really is how they play at the top. They're strong. Sterling hasn't quite got going yet, Paul Sterling, but you expect him to make a contribution. I mean, Hales is going to come in, I think, in a game or two's time, so they're going to have to restructure that top order a little bit. So there might be a little bit of, well, not pressure, but players at the top there wanting to make a contribution. I love Azam Khan. I think he's a great cricketer. I love watching him play. So any game that he's playing in, I'm watching.
Well, I'm guessing we all are watching. Another player to watch out for who's just joined them as well, one is Ramanullah Gurbaz. Now, he can also fill in that top order and be very explosive up front.
Yeah, I almost certainly feel that he'll come in straight away. I think he's an explosive batsman, Afghan. Of course, he wants to make himself, impose himself at any bowling lineup in the world. But again, I think for me, having seen Hassan Ali warm up here this afternoon, suggests to me slightly that he might play this evening. I think ahead of who? That's the big question mark. But I think he'll probably come in maybe ahead of Mohammad Wasim.
Well, one thing's for sure, a player who will play is Mohammad Haris, the youngster who has impacted the PSL ever since he's walked in. Let's have a look at our numbers game. He's on the numbers game, Mohammad Haris, for Peshawar Zalmi, because have a look at this. Before his HBL PSL debut, Peshawar Zalmi in that run rate 7.40, and Islamabad were on top. Ever since he's walked into the Peshawar Zalmi side, he's played 8 games, 5 games last season, 3 so far in this season. Have a look at that. Peshawar Zalmi has jumped right on top, 9.44, and that's quite an impact. It's a kind of impact that provides impetus up front and is a kind of player who plays with a brave heart. Nick, you've seen him in bits and pieces in the couple of games he's played. What do you make of this youngster?
Well, I love his fearless nature, the way that he plays. He just goes out there to strike. But I made mention, I think, a little while ago, he got slightly a dual role, because if he's going to open with Baba, then his role is to try and sort of get the side off to a really quick start. Then Baba can tuck in behind and then get the innings set, and then he can then play the innings of real substance throughout. So it's a kind of dual role. I just think, it's what we see in the modern game. These guys are so fearless. They just take it on. Doesn't matter if there's a fielder back, they'll try and hit it over their head. And then you've got Saeem Ayub as well to come in. I mean, they're a great watch.
That was indeed a great watch, and we're hoping for some fireworks from Mohammad Haris. That was our numbers game. Now we'll keep obviously moving on with our game. Peshawar Zalmi, they will be taking on Islamabad United. Peshawar Zalmi today, this will be their home ground, National Bank Cricket Stadium. So they will be obviously flipping the coin. And before we leave you to the break, we have some wonderful visuals which are part of the National Amateur Short Film Festival from Peshawar, an initiative to showcase Pakistan's cultural landscape and tourist attractions. Have a good watch.
तारीखी दर्रा खैबर के मशरक़ी वसी वादी में वाक़या अफ़ग़ानिस्तान की सरहद के करीब, जिसकी रिकॉर्ड शुद्धा तारीख़ कम अज़ कम 539 क़ब्ल मसीह की है, पाकिस्तान का छठा पुराना शहर और सबसे बड़ा पश्तून अक्सरियती शहर पेशावर। गोर गठरी ये पेशावर शहर के वस्त में मौजूद बुलंद तरीन मकामात में से एक है। ये कलाबंद कंपाउंड है। इसके दो नुमाया दरवाजे हैं, एक मशरिक और दूसरा मगरिब की जानिब। 16वीं सदी के शुरू में मुगल शहनशाह शाहजहां की बड़ी बेटी जहां आरा बेगम ने इस कदीम मकाम को कारवान सराय में तब्दील किया और इसका नाम सराय जहां आरा आबाद रखा। गोरगठरी के मरकज में दाएं तरफ एक मस्जिद नजर आती है और बाएं तरफ हिंदू मंदिर, जो उस वक्त के मुसलमानों और हिंदुओं के दरमियान मजहबी हम आहंगी की एक बेहतरीन मिसाल है। गोरखनाथ मंदिर गोरगठरी के मरकज में वाक़या है। कदीम शहर पेशावर में गोरगठरी की शनाख्त अलेक्जेंडर कनिंगम ने कनिष्क स्टूपा से की थी। 1818 सिख दौर में महाराजा रंजीत सिंह ने पेशावर पर कब्जा कर लिया। इस सराय को इटली निजात सिख गवर्नर अबू तबेला ने मगरबी दरवाजे पर एक छोटी सी अदालत बनवाई थी, जिसमें मकामी लोगों के फैसले हुआ करते थे। गोरगठरी को आज के दौर में तहसील पार्क के नाम से जाना जाता है। अक्सर बैरून मुल्क से आने वाले सयाह यहाँ गोरगठरी की सैर और म्यूजियम को देखने आया करते हैं।
Welcome back to Pitchside. A beautiful evening here in Karachi as the sun sets in the City of Lights, and we are ready for a dynamic encounter. Peshawar Zalmi taking on Islamabad United. Well, now it's time to have a look at expert advice. So let's head down to Bazit Khan and see what he has in store for us.
Right, anybody watching here who's starting cricket, and as a batter, the first thing that you need to be aware of is your stumps. That is the most important thing that you've got to protect. Now, once you walk into bat, the first thing you do is take guard and to be aware of where your stumps are. So, one leg is leg stump, two leg is between middle and leg stump, and then middle. That is the basic three marks that most batsmen would take. And then, as you prefer, if you want to stand with your toes on middle stump, or if you just want to stand with your toes on sort of middle and leg, just to be sure that you're in front of your stumps and aware of if the ball is pitching where it will hit the stumps or if it's pitching outside the stumps. Now, these players, modern players, are very good at playing shots and improvising on how to play against different bowlers. Yesterday we saw Jason Roy with the ball swinging back in, so he's actually standing outside leg stump in order not to get LBW, so he doesn't want to get in front of the stumps where the ball's coming back in. And the few deliveries that did come back in, he was outside leg stump, so LBW goes out of the picture. Now, other power hitters want to go deep into the crease. They go very deep, close to the stumps. And some power hitters go outside of stump as well. And for them, sometimes what they do is put a mark sort of off stump, but in front of them, so they can be aware of where their off stump is. So once they're going back, they know where their off stump is. So once they go even further, they don't trot onto their stumps. They're actually outside off stump and using the depth of the crease and opening up everything else. But the fact of the matter is, if you know where all three stumps are, you're going to make better decisions. And as a young player, you need to be very, very aware, because these three pieces of wood are the most important thing in cricket.
Yeah, extremely important to know where those three stumps are and how you can use your crease. Bazit Khan obviously talking to youngsters out there, but we'll move our attention to someone who's an international cricketer, Jason Roy. Nick, we saw him move outside the leg stump to cater to Shaheen's in-swinging, which he did get wrapped on the pads a couple of times. How do you move around and how do you assess when to move and how far to move?
Well, that's a good point, and the points that Bazid makes there are absolutely spot on. I mean, I think he was making reference to that in his piece there, that he's worried about the LBW. If you get your front foot too far across, then you can't access the ball. It dips into your pad and your boot, and then you're struggling. The other point to it, really, is that you're trying to access the ball with the bat. And so if you stay slightly leg side of the ball, that's on the right there, then there's more chance with the ball coming back in that you can access the ball with the bat, the full face of the bat, then you can get the power, then you can hit the ball down the ground or wherever you like. Now that, even with that adjustment, I mean, it was unbelievable bowling, wasn't it, by the way? I mean, that was extraordinary. But even with that adjustment, Shaheen Sharafridi's still good enough to hit the Jason Roy boot. But I think, you know, our job as batters is to try and score runs, and lots of them. It's also to try and annoy the hell out of these fellas, all right? And if I annoy the hell out of him, then it might be that he just gets a little rattled as he runs in. Why is he standing outside leg stump? What's his theory? And then I'm perhaps sowing a few seeds that he might think, oh, that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So our job is a sort of bit of combat, isn't it? Me v you.
No, 100%. And I think the reason why he has done that was to try and eliminate the mode of dismissal. Of course, we know Shaheen Afridi, he's going to come at your stump. So him perhaps coming out of his crease, trying to offset Shaheen Afridi with length, perhaps try and, you know, force the Yorker into a low full toss. And on the night, if a bowler gets it right, he can gauge when a batter, you know, is just out of his crease. But, wow, I tell you what, when he gets it swinging, it is a tough ask. But, yeah, just coming back to your point, there is that little battle between bat and ball. And on the night, you have to adapt as a bowler, perhaps come up with plans. And I think these days you've got video analysis available to you to make sure that you get a good idea as to what a particular game plan from a particular bowler is. And it's up to you to go and say, am I okay with him bowling that, you know, the high swinging balls at high pace, or am I going to try and put him off? Yet the point you make, you know, try and adapt and come up with a new game plan.
I mean, I talk on commentary a little bit about don't be frightened of showing the bowler that you're making that movement. Sometimes batters are worried about sort of making a late movement because you don't want to show the bowler what you're doing. I go the other way. I think sometimes if I go early, he's running in, he's about to bowl a certain ball, and then, hang on, where's he going? Oh, and I've got to make an adjustment. And that might make his job a little tougher. You know what I mean? So there's all that kind of psychology that goes on between us two anyway.
Well, I've got plenty of tussle in the studio between Vern and Nick trying to figure out and outsmart each other. What Tariq Saeed did earlier was try and outsmart Roman Reis with some Urdu skills.
जी मैं उर्दू क्रिकेट कमेंटेटर तारिक सईद हूं और उर्दू क्रिकेट लुगत का हम एक छोटा सा इम्तहान लेंगे रुमान रईस का जो कि बैट्समैन का बहुत इम्तहान लेते हैं नई गेंद के साथ तो रुमान गेंद को हवा देना
गेंद को हवा देना इट्स मीन के एज ए बॉलर बॉल को थोड़ा सा एयर देके स्विंग करना तो बॉल को हवा देने का मकसद ये होता है उसमें किफ़ायती बॉलिंग यानी थोड़ी सी स्किलफुल बॉलिंग जो होती है जिसमें आपको कंट्रोल हो यानी आप अंदर भी ला रहे हैं बाहर भी ला रहे हैं वेरिएशंस भी कर रहे हैं तो किफ़ायती बॉलिंग मेरे ख्याल से उसको कहते हैं तरावत टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट ये बड़ा मुश्किल है ये मुझे नहीं पता
और ऊपरी
किनारा यानी अगर आपने अच्छा बॉल किया है और बैट्समैन का एज लगा वो कीपर के पास गया तो ऊपरी किनारा या फिर एक और चीज़ भी हो सकती है कि बैट्समैन ने हिट किया टॉप एज लगा और सीधा फील्डर के नीचे हाथ में
पिछले
कदम पर यानी उसको कहते हैं कि बैट्समैन ने आपने अच्छा बॉल किया शॉर्ट ऑफ लेंथ और गुड लेंथ एरिया पे उसने बैकफुट पे जाके रोका तो उसको कहते हैं पिछले कदम पर खेलना
और धीमी गेंद
स्लो वन
जी हाँ बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और आप पास हो गए 75% आप मार्क्स लेके
थैंक यू सो मच तारिक भाई बहुत शुक्रिया
Yeah, lovely interaction there, and Tariq Saeed claims that Roman Reis has passed his Urdu skills. Now, whether the two gentlemen on my left have learned something in Pakistan, let's have a quick word with them before we go on to a break. Nick Knight, something in Urdu.
I got all of that interview.
All right.
Where am I? Which is my camera?
Go on, say something.
Subtika.
Well done.
Sounds like a sort of sandwich, but I think Subtika.
Vernon, you've got something for us. You work with the Pakistan team. I'm sure you've picked up on something.
You know what? The most important part is just know how to greet. Assalamu alaikum. Aap kaisi hai?
क्या बात है मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ और आपका बहुत शुक्रिया. Well, we're having plenty of fun and the game promises to be an exciting one as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this short break. Oh, welcome back to pitch side. The action is getting ready. The crowd's building up. The teams are almost ready as well for this clash. Peshawar Zalmi, they take on Islamabad United. We continue to build up the teams and how the formation plays out. How about we touch on Islamabad United? One, Islamabad United, we know they've got an explosive fire order up front. Alex Hale's yet to come in. In terms of their bowling, Where do you feel, does Hassan Ali fit in, yet to play a game this HBL PSL 8? Do they still rush into these changes, or you think they're well balanced at the moment?
Yeah, I think it is early days. I mean, I've been out there earlier and he was doing a little bit of technical work out there, and almost suggests to me that, you know, marking out his run-up, when I look at players marking out their run-ups, I get a slight indication that they might play on the night. I think the big question is, who does he come in for? Perhaps a Tom Curran, yeah, perhaps for him, Ashraf. So those are the little ones that you have. I think, of course, you know, Hassan Ali also give you the option with a bat. You can clear, you know, you can hit a long ball towards the back end. So it's going to be interesting to see which combination they go with.
Next, same question to you. You think, would it be a case of, if he does come in, a straight stop with, like Vern said, Fahim or Mohammad Wasim, or do you think there's a case of playing Hassan Ali?
The one thing I look at is balance of side,
Yep.
and if you're making changes, how's that going to affect the balance of your side? So when I look at a side, a bowling unit in a T20, I'm thinking I want pace, that's my first thing, and I want mystery spin. So you can't always have that. You haven't always got that resource in your squad. But I also want 6 bowlers, at least 6 bowlers. So I think if Hassan Ali, whoever he comes in for, it's likely to still have Shadab. You've got plenty of bowling options there with 6. So I'm not really that fussed. I mean, I've always been a fan of Hassan Ali. I've followed his career. I think he's going to add a bit with bat and with ball.
In terms of the surface, we've been out there, you've been out there for pitch reports a couple of times. We're back on pitch number 7. How do you reckon it plays out, and does the pattern of bowling first change tonight?
Probably not, because we've seen it due.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one of the captains might say, I think this pitch is a little drier than the previous pitches. If you look sort of that side, I don't know if you can do it, but if you sort of look over there, those pitches are slightly drier and slower than the pitches behind us. So maybe you might look at doing it a slightly different way. It's a shorter boundary as well, so maybe you're looking at left-hand, right-hand combinations, but not a lot of difference.
Right, it's that important time for the coin flip. Danny Morrison is ready with the 2 captains.
Good evening, folks. All in readiness for the toss of the coin, the BFI coin toss coming your way. Men alongside that matter to my right. Ali Naqvi is our match referee as per. And the 2 captains, very good looking young men, aren't you? And congratulations, Sharif Khan.
Thank you.
Got married as well. It's the season for it. Well done. And Baba Azad?
No, he's not.
He's not married.
He's
not yet. Good to see you, sir. And you've got the coin. Please, can we flip that? Heads.
Heads is the call.
Heads is the call, Ali.
And that's heads.
It's a head.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. You've just gone nuts. Why? Because you're going to bowl.
No,
Bat.
I lose 2 toss before the original toss, so that's why it's the 3rd one. So that's why I win it.
Congratulations. Now, listen, what are you going to do?
We will like to bowl first.
Everyone wants to bowl first. I mean, it's looking a good pitch, no?
Yeah, it is good pitch, but depends on the opposition strength and our strength, so we will like to bowl first.
Do you think it's a bit of the dew factor?
It is, but depending on the strength of both teams, I think so. That's why we have to like to bowl first.
Now then, you guys got belted up in Multan. Has that affected your side to come to Karachi? Changes?
Yeah, we have 4 changes, but it's not depend on the loss, because I tell you, we have a database franchise, so we have to do matchups, and that's why we have 4 changes.
Oh, you can keep those secret, other those changes?
No, it's very difficult to remember, but
No, it's not.
Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Mubassir comes in, Asif Ali and Hassan Ali comes in.
Oh, very good, well remembered.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Good luck, Skip.
You're going to have to set a total, Bubba, but I don't think it's a bad thing. This is a good pitch, no?
Yeah, to be honest, it looked like good wicket, so we will try 2 runs on the board to put pressure on them. And second is, if 180 and 200, we have on the board, so very different. If we take early wickets and 2 good overs, so maybe pressure on another team.
Yeah, and then things are going well for you. You guys are winning. You've won here twice and like that. Any changes from the last match?
No, we have a same team, so we are trust in our 11 and we have a same team.
And what about you? Are you enjoying your batting? Would like some more runs, please, yes?
Definitely, I'm always enjoy my batting, and so I am looking forward to this inning and hope be the best.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bubba. Rightio, news from the centre is that Shadu Khan, Islamabad United won the toss, and you know it, they're going to bowl. A pitch. Buzz, good to see you.
cut, and here we are. Now we've cut this because there's no grass on this, brother. Look at it.
There's a bit of sheen on it. It doesn't look too bad a pitch. The one we played a couple of days ago, that was excellent. The ball came onto the bat, but a couple of aspects here. That's slightly drier, so maybe a bit in it for bowling short of a length. But when I say short of a length, this side, so you're batting facing up to the pavilion end, the bowling's from the pavilion end to my offside as a right-hander, it's only 66 yards. So when you go short, you have to be wary of the fact as a left-hander you're going short, well, easy hit. Even leg spinner bowling from there, easy hit, left-hander. So you've got to be clever in that sense. Yes, go into the pitch, but also be aware of your dimensions of the ground.
And the thing you can't control, we're going about the weather. It's a bit cooler tonight, so that may just have an effect on the dew, maybe less dew.
Yes, somebody's saying that if there's a bit of breeze, then there won't be a lot of dew, but I don't look into that too much because I cannot explain to you. You can. You've researched it.
Yes.
Dew today or not?
There is, and I've had a chat to them upstairs, gave the old boss a call, and she said not so much dew tonight. So if you get out and bat first, like Bubba's going to, don't mind. Runs on the board, Baz. Good. We love it.
Well, dew or no dew, we'll eventually find out, but the news from the centre is that Islamabad United have won the toss and they will also have a bowl. 4 changes to their side. Asif Ali, Hassan Ali, Rahmanullah Gurbaz and Mubassir Khan come in. Peshawar Zalmi remain unchanged for this encounter. Nick Knight, thank you very much for joining me. We'll catch you later in the commentary box. You guys don't go anywhere because we'll be back right after this short break. Action will shortly be underway at the National Bank Cricket Stadium. Lights are on, teams are ready, and the toss has also happened. Islamabad United won the toss. They've elected to bowl first. I've also been joined by a new guest alongside Baz Khan. Baz, thank you very much for joining me. You were out there in the middle. Thoughts on the overall match today?
Well, it'll be interesting because there's a lot of talk of batting first, batting second, but Islamabad United, with the way that they built their side, they always like to chase, so they will always be chasing. I don't think it's a bad thing for Peshawar to be batting. I think there's something in that pitch, and if you use the dimensions well, you have to be clever today because one side is appreciably shorter, so you have to be clever which bowler you use when, and when you're bowling short, you also have to be clever to look at that area because going to the shorter side with the short ball, it won't be so clever.
It won't be so clever or easy. Let's have a quick look on the Peshawar 11. They go into this match unchanged. Babar Azam, Vernon Philander, what are your thoughts on this 11?
Yeah, absolutely no surprises. I think having won the last game, Dangerous Harris at the top, accompanied by Same Ayub, and then obviously Kola Kedmore, Rothman Powell, the all-rounders, Jimmy Neeson, Sanaka, Wahab Riaz, McQueen, and then Abdul Qadir. He's been impressive in his last outing as well. So I think it's a well-balanced squad, and also, like I said, they bring momentum into this game, and yet no changes to their squad.
Islamabad, on the other hand, Baz, 4 changes, and Shadab mentioned at the toss it wasn't because of the loss, it was just because of conditions.
Yeah, and because Gurbaz comes in, that's why Abrar goes out. Now, you have to keep in mind that the emerging player, they had to play emerging player. Hassan Nawaz was doing that job. So I think Abrar missed out because of Gurbaz coming in, and then Mubassir had to play as their emerging player. That's the only sort of thing that you look at and say, why isn't Abrar playing? That's the reason why he's not playing. Otherwise, you look at that, they always back their batting. I think their bowling is their weaker aspect. That's why they go up front and bowl and let the chasing begin with their firepower up top and through the middle. They bat till, what, number 9.
Yeah, they bat deep, and when you talk about batting, that is a player who's thoroughly impressed us all from Peshawar Zalmi. Mohammad Aris, Bazid Khan caught up with him earlier. Let's have a look at Star Talk.
मोहम्मद हारिस मेरे साथ। हारिस, एक सवाल जो सभी अब आपसे पूछते हैं, मैंने ये पूछना है कि जो गूगल आपका नाम रखा गया वो किस बंदे ने रखा गया?
ये उस टाइम हमारे कैप्टन थे अंडर 19 के रोहेल नज़ीर, जो इस्लामाबाद से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, विकेट कीपर है। उन्होंने मेरा ये नाम रखा था क्योंकि वो मेरे रूममेट भी थे, तो उन्होंने मेरे करतूत वगैरह देख के मेरा नाम रखा था।
अच्छा, आपको ले जाता हूँ पहला HPL PSL की जो आपकी इनिंग्स थी, आपने आगाज़ ही छक्के से की, तो याद है आपको छक्का?
जी बिल्कुल याद है, और मेरी यही सोच थी कि जब भी मैं कोई ऐसी इनिंग्स खेलने जाऊंगा जो मेरी पहली इनिंग्स हो तो मैं स्टार्ट छक्के से ही करूंगा, तो वही मैंने किया और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मुझे उसमें कामयाबी मिली।
बिल्कुल, आपका स्टार्ट बहुत तेज़ होता है, हमने देखा ये PSL में, HPL PSL में कि आपका स्टार्ट हमेशा इनिंग्स का तेज़ होता है। उसकी कोई ख़ास वजह है, कोई सीक्रेट है?
कोशिश करता हूँ टीम दूसरी मुखालिफ टीम को खुद पे हावी ना होने दूँ, ना खुद पे और ना अपनी टीम पे, तो वही कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं अटैकिंग क्रिकेट खेलूँ, जो मुझे आता है वही खेलूँ। लेकिन इसमें अभी एक चीज़ ऐड करूँगा इंशाल्लाह कि मैं 30s 20s तो करता हूँ, उसको बड़ी इनिंग्स में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पा रहा, तो कोशिश करूँगा कि 30-20 को 50 में, 50 को 70-80 में कन्वर्ट करूँ।
अगर आपको मैं अंडर-19 साउथ अफ्रीका के वर्ल्ड कप पे ले जाऊँ, वहाँ पे जो काफ़ी सारे प्लेयर्स आपके टीममेट्स अब HPL PSL खेल रहे हैं, आज भी एक ऐसा प्लेयर है जो आपके खिलाफ शायद खेले, मोहम्मद वसीम जूनियर, तो ये राइवलरी है, वो आपको तंग करेंगे बाद में अगर आप आउट हो जाएं, या अगर आप उनको छक्के मारेंगे तो आप उनको तंग करेंगे ज़रूर?
जी बिल्कुल, तंग भी होते हैं और हम एक दूसरे को दावत भी देते हैं कि अगर आपने मुझे आउट किया तो मैं खाना खिलाऊंगा, मैंने आपको आउट किया तो मैं आपको खाना के, मैंने आप पे छक्के मारे तो मैं आपको खिलाऊंगा, इस तरह की होती है। तो ये अच्छी बात है, PSL के मैचेस के लिए होनी चाहिए। और ना सिर्फ वसीम जूनियर बल्कि उनके साथ तो फजल फारूकी भी है, वो भी हमारे अगेंस्ट खेले थे वर्ल्ड कप में, तो अगर वो भी खेलेंगे तो अच्छा मुकाबला होगा।
आपके पास एक नोट होता है जो आप कैरी करते हैं, मेरे ख्याल #BeTheBest, आज वो कैरी कर रहे हैं या कोई नया लेके आए हैं?
नहीं, वही पुराने ही है, लेकिन बस उसके लिए 50 चाहिए, वो 50 नहीं हो पा रहा, अल्लाह करे वो हो जाए।
तो जल्दी वो 50 भी होगा। जिस तरह की आप क्रिकेट खेलते हैं, जिस तरह के आगाज़ करते हैं, उससे आप बॉलर्स पे हावी होते हैं। इसमें मुझे पता लगा है कि आप कोचेस से बहुत ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस कराते हैं, कोचेस आपसे बहुत तंग हैं क्योंकि आप नेट में जाते फिर निकलते नहीं हैं।
उसके लिए ख़ास ही चीज़ है कि आपको मेहनत करनी होती है। अगर आप मेहनत नहीं करेंगे तो रिजवान भाई हो गए या जितने भी वर्ल्ड के जितने भी वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 विकेट कीपर्स हो गए, तो उनको कैसे बीट करेंगे, या जिस टीम में रिजवान भाई हो उनके साथ आप कैसे खेलेंगे। तो एज अ विकेट कीपर दूसरे विकेट कीपर को बीट करने के लिए आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, तो उसके लिए चाहे कोचेज रोए या जो भी हो, वो मेरा मसला नहीं है, मुझे मेहनत करनी है और मैं वो करता रहूँगा।
बहुत अच्छा, हमारा मसला है कि आप परफॉर्म करते रहें। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू।
And Mohammad Haris featuring in Star Talk, and he's called Google. Bazid Khan, do you know why?
Well, apparently he knows the answer to every question. It's almost like Vernon, you ask him anything, he'll answer. But in his under 19 years, in the dressing room, if there was a question, he'd answer it. And from then onwards, I think his captain named him Google, and then it's carried on. And he hasn't gone away from it. So even when he's played at the higher level, he's able to answer back and tell me, look, Mr. Google will answer everything, and he does so.
Does Mr. Google, or do the Mr. Googles in my studio, know which team is going to come out on top tonight? Let's find out. Vernon Philander, who are you going with, yellow or red tonight?
I think I'm going to go with yellow.
Peshawar Zalmi says Vernon Philander. Baz, do you have a short answer for me on this one, or a long, educative, Googlish answer?
Short answer.
All right, go on. Which one?
You said Peshawar, did you? Yeah. United, Islamabad.
That's easy. One said Peshawar, one said Islamabad United. Just come back to you very quickly. Peshawar Zalmi, we've been talking about the top order. We've got Saim Ayub, Babar Azam, TKC and Mohammad Haris. Ideally, what are your top four?
I think Haris and Babar Azam, and then depending on who gets out, I think Saim Ayub, Saim Ayub likes space, so you want to bat him up the order, but if you want to take that power play on, then you've got to get TKC at number 3.
One, TKC in the power play to be that explosive factor. You've got Babar, Saim. Where does your combination of the top four fit in?
I'd like to see him bat at 3. I think TKC can really take the game away from you. So you want to really give him as much time in the power play to maximize the power play. And of course, once he's in after that power play, I mean, he doesn't have a shift down or a gear down in shift. So he wants to shift up. So for me, really, I mean, if you can get in early, you want to maximize time with him at the crease.
Well, one thing is for sure is that this contest will be explosive. They've got firepower on both sides with the bat and with the ball. Islamabad United earlier won the toss and they have elected to bowl first. What Peshawar Zalmi and Babar Azam does with being put in batting first, what a good target will be, we will find out all of that after this short break. So don't go anywhere. The HBL PSL 8 continues here in Karachi. It's Peshawar Zalmi. They take on Islamabad United.